live again on IG. Let's see if this works this time. Let's see. All right, I think we got it working right this time. I think Instagram is doing what it's supposed to do this time. As y'all are coming in, shout yourselves out. Tell me your name and location in the comment section. We're going to get right to it. Collier Girl, what's going on? Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. As y'all coming in, shout yourselves out again. Tell me your name, location. We're going to get into the subject. Y'all see what the title of this live is. Y'all see what the theme is. Y'all know the process. If you don't know the process, you will learn it very quickly. My process is relatively simple. The idea is I'm going to give you the game. I'm going to give you the game on whatever the topic happens to be. I'm going to explain why the game is the game. And I'll tell you how, if you want to really take this to where it needs to go, I can help you do that. So shout yourselves out in the comments section. Chris checking in from Vancouver, Washington. Shout out to Washington. I wasn't in Washington. Where was I? I was in Oregon 2 weeks ago. I was in Oregon 2 weeks ago. It snowed. I didn't know it even snowed up there. It snowed that day and the roads were crazy for about a day or two, but it was all good. Shout out to Oregon. Shout out to the greater Northwest. I think that's what they call that area, right? For those who don't know me, my name is Dre Baldwin, former 9-year pro athlete, author of 33 books, done 4 TED Talks, create this whole brand called Work on Your Game, where I take all the mindsets and the strategies to help athletes get to the top 1% in sports, and we translate them over to the business world to help professionals like yourselves perform at a higher level, be more consistent, and make more money. Who's that? Queen of Waxing, Sabrina, met me at GrowthCon. Shout out to everybody who was at GrowthCon. Shout out to you, Sabrina. Good to see you. Dexter checking in from the ATL. Am I going to be in Atlanta soon? It was something that was happening in Atlanta. I can't remember what it was, but I think I am going to be in Atlanta at some point. I can't remember. But anyway, what we're talking about here today. Shout out to everybody who is in here watching this live, and shout out to everybody who's going to be watching this on replay. I got a poor connection pause. They keep giving me these poor connection pauses when I'm doing these lives on IG. I don't know why, but it happens like 2 or 3 times every live. Anyway, the topic here today is how to cut your timelines in half. I'm going to assume that all of you who are watching this, you have some things that you're trying to achieve. You got some goals, some outcomes that you want to produce, some things that you want to do in your life that haven't yet happened. All of us have these. We all have goals. No matter how many of your goals you hit one goal or you hit 10 goals, you got 5 more goals that you want to hit right after that. Because we are on this process of continuous, never-ending improvement. So as soon as you hit one goal, you're on to the next goal. So how can you reach your outcomes faster? Because if you could cut your timelines in half, so which means, let's say, for example, if you have a goal that it might take you 6 months to reach it, if you could reach that goal in 3 months, would you want to do that? If it's going to take you 10 years to reach a goal, but you could get it done in 5 years, would you want to do that? If something's going to take you the rest of your life to do, but you could get it done in half the time, whatever the rest of your life is going to be, so that you have the other half of the rest of your life to actually enjoy the fruits of your labor, would you want to do that? I would assume that most of us want to do that. That if we could achieve our goals faster rather than achieving them slower, we would all probably want to do that. So that's what we're going to talk about here today. How can you achieve your goals faster by cutting your timelines in half? So instead of it taking you a week to do something, you get it done in 3 days. Instead of it taking you an hour, you get it done in 30 minutes. So this could be in a micro, like on a daily basis. It can be on a macro, like we're talking about the big picture of your life. So all you who are interested in that, please pay attention to what I'm about to share, because I'm going to give you this game and I'm going to explain why these points are these points. Number 1, how to cut your timelines in half. The first thing you have to do is stop doing everything by yourself. If you want to achieve your goals faster, you want to achieve your goals twice as fast as how you are doing it right now. Number 1 thing you must do is stop doing everything by yourself. This is the easiest, fastest, simplest, and also at the same time, most challenging way for anyone to achieve their goals faster and cut their timelines in half is stop doing everything by yourself. For example, any of you who runs a business, any of you who is an entrepreneur, the slowest way to get to your outcomes, where you want to get in business, usually it has something to do with money. All right, the slowest way for you to make the kind of money you want to make in business. And I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs. When I talk to people who are at the 6-figure level and above, they're all trying to get to the $1 million level. When I talk to people at the $1 million level and above, they want to get to 10 million. When I talk to people who haven't yet hit 6 figures, they want to hit 6 figures. The slowest way for you to get there is to do everything by yourself. Now, it doesn't mean you can't do it. I didn't say you won't do it. You can, but it's the slowest way to do it because you had to do everything on your own. Here's the challenge. Here's the reason why doing everything by yourself is challenging and why it's the slowest way to do things. Because you only have 2 hands, you only got 2 eyes, you got 2 ears, you got 1 mouth, and you have 1 brain. And according to current scientific knowledge, you can only be in one physical location at a time. And you can only focus on, with one brain, you can only focus on one thing at a time. Those are your human limitations. But if you had another person working with you, let's just say you had one other person. Now we take all those numbers that I just gave you and they double. Now you can be in two places at a time. You can focus on two things at a time. You got 4 hands, 4 eyes, 4 ears, 2 mouths, and you can get twice as much done as long as you and that other person are on the same page and on the same program. Everybody understand what I'm saying? That's just simple mathematics. Here's the point. When you're trying to do everything by yourself, not only are you limited by your physical limitations, such as what I just laid out, how many places you can be in, how many things you can focus on, how many hands and eyes and ears you have, but also you're limited in your knowledge. Because I know this for a fact. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you do, how smart you are, how hard you work, and how much knowledge you consume on a daily basis. There is a limit to how much you know. There's a limit to your personal intelligence and your personal knowledge. Every one of us has a limit. There's only so much that each one of us knows about anything and everything. Therefore, if you're doing everything by yourself, here's the natural limitation that you're eventually going to run into. Here's the brick wall you're going to run into. That there is something that you simply don't know as much about as somebody else does. And if you're trying to do everything by yourself, then you're limiting yourself because somebody else knows more about it and can help you get the outcome faster than you would by yourself, simply because they know more about that subject than you do. And it's vice versa, same thing for you. So whatever it is that you do professionally, you can probably help somebody else get to their outcome faster if they got your help than they would do by themselves, right? The same way that you could get to your outcomes faster if you got help from someone who knows things that you don't know. Can we all agree that this is pretty much how it works? Can we agree to this? I just posted on my Instagram story here today. If you go to my story after this live is over, you'll see it. I posted some clips from my boxing workout with my trainer. I got a boxing trainer that I work out with. Now, I'm not trying to be a boxer. I'm not trying to actually get in a boxing match with anybody, but I just like training in the sport. And here's the thing. Just look at this logically. I don't know anything about boxing. I did not grow up in the sport. I wasn't trained to box or anything like that. So if I want to learn how to box, could I just, let's say, watch a bunch of YouTube videos, just go to the boxing gym by myself and just mess around in there by myself for 10 years, and maybe eventually I might learn something about boxing? Is that possible? Yes. But can we agree that if I go get a trainer, somebody who already knows the game and knows it 100 times better than me, then I could actually learn it faster than if I tried to learn it all by myself or by watching YouTube or reading books? I think everybody would agree with that. This is the reason why the personal training industry exists. Because look, you could get in great shape and lose 20 pounds by yourself going to the gym. But if you get a personal trainer, you'll probably lose that 20 pounds a whole lot faster and a lot more efficiently with a lot less trial and error, simply because you're working with an expert who knows things that you don't know. You're working with a professional who can do things that you can't do. Everybody agrees with this, right? So if you're a professional hairstylist, or you're a barber, or you're an esthetician, you can help somebody get their nails looking good, or their hair done, or their haircut, or their fashion on point faster than they would do it by themselves if they try to do it all on their own through a whole bunch of trial and error. If you're a business coach, like I'm a business coach, there are people who I work with in business who, do they necessarily need to have a business coach? Not all of them. Most of them don't think they need it, but many of the people who I work with, actually everybody I've ever worked with, knows that they want it. Why? Because they're making an investment into achieving their business outcomes faster than they would achieve it if they just did everything on their own. Or they may be in a situation where, well, I can't do these certain things on my own, so I need somebody else to help me. But also I work with people who say, if I kept doing this without your help, I would eventually get there, but it might take me 10 years. But if I work with you, it might only take me 1 year. So what you're doing is you're buying time. And this is the whole point of what I'm talking about here today. And notice the title, cutting your timelines in half. You want to cut your timelines in half, folks. The easiest thing you can do is to buy time. How do you buy time? You don't pay for it with Cash App. You don't go on Amazon. The way you buy time is you get another person, at least one other person, or another person's intelligence. Doesn't actually have to be that human. It could be their intelligence. And I'll explain what I mean by that in a second. Borrow another person's intelligence, or their energy, or their attention, or their focus, or their time, any one of those, and utilize it for your purposes to achieve your outcomes faster. Because again, two brains are better than one, right? 2 heads can get something done faster than one person can get things done. And we all understand this on a basic level. The challenge for a lot of us is that when we get out into the quote unquote real world, we perform as if we don't understand this, or as if we don't agree with what I just said. Because in order to got another pause connection there. In order to get somebody else to work on your behalf, or to work with you to make things happen, As Dexter said there, teamwork makes the dream work. Well, that's going to require some form of investment from you, right? Because why would another person just do something to help you get to your goal if you're not doing anything to help them? So you got to give them something in order for them to give you something, right? This is the law of reciprocity. So in order for you to get another person working on your behalf, what are you going to have to do? Well, there are several ways that you can do this. So I want y'all to understand, because usually when these things get talked about, people start to think about in the ways that they understand it. So some of you, when I say this, you're thinking about, okay, Joe, you're talking about hiring an employee. That's one way that you could do it. You could hire an employee, hire a staff member to come work with you. Now, what's the investment for a staff member? You have to actually pay that person. Then you have to actually train them. Then you got to watch them. Then you got to help them. Then you got to make sure they're doing things the right way. You have to correct them along the way so they can get to where they need to be. That's one way you can get somebody else helping you, is to hire a staff member. That's only one way. That's not the only way. Another way is you could do something like hiring a coach, a trainer. So let's say if I wanted to lose weight and I'm trying to lose this last 30 pounds and I'm struggling to do it, or even if I'm not struggling, but it's just taking longer than I wanted to take, if I hire a trainer, I'll probably lose that weight a lot faster. Now, if I hire a trainer, what I have to do? I have to pay my trainer. Now that's a financial investment. And a lot of people, when it comes, they understand logically, everybody understands on a logical level that all of this that I'm saying makes sense. Is when it comes down to what do you have to give in order to get what you want, that's when people start stumbling and stuttering and not actually wanting to take the next step. And that's what holds people back. What slows most people down from getting to their outcomes in life is not that they don't know what it would take to get there, or at least they don't at least know directionally what they would have to do it. They just don't want to make the investments. A lot of people just don't want to invest in themselves. Actually, they want to, but they don't want to. They say that they want to, but then when it comes time to actually make the investment, they get cold feet and then they don't want to do anything. Then they say, well, let me just keep trying to do it all on my own. Well, mofo, you've been trying to do it on your own for the last 6 years. That's the reason why you're thinking about investing in yourself, because you know that's not going to get you where you want to go. And we all understand this, again, on a logical level. But when it comes time to make the investment, that's when it becomes more of an emotional thing. And this is what stops a lot of people from taking the step that they need to take. And this is what keeps a lot of people from getting to their outcomes. So another way, the second way, so one way is hiring somebody. Another way, you can hire a coach or a trainer or a mentor or join a mastermind, or pay somewhere where you're investing money for someone else's knowledge. You're borrowing their brain, their knowledge, their information. It doesn't even have to be you dealing with a human. You can sign up for somebody's course. Any of you ever signed up for a course and the course had enough information in it that all you had to do was go through the information in the course, and that material help you get a better outcome than you were getting on your own, but you never actually had to have a one-on-one conversation with the individual who made the course. You never had to actually talk to them. They just gave you the information, but you had to invest to get access to that information. So getting help from another human being does not necessarily mean you have to be talking to them one-on-one and have this relationship and y'all on the phone every day. It doesn't have to be like that. It could be, you could buy somebody's book. Now, a book is usually not going to go in depth enough, but I'm just using this as an example. So if I write a book about, here's how you, for example, I'll give you an example. So one of my books called The Overseas Basketball Blueprint. This book right here is about how to play basketball overseas. If you want to play basketball overseas and you know you're good enough to play pro, you just haven't gotten the contract yet. If you read this book, which is, how many pages is this book? This book is 167 pages. You read this 167 page book, you will have the blueprint of what you need to do to go play overseas. You don't ever have to meet me. You don't have to shake my hand. We don't have to go play basketball together. I don't have to be your coach. You read this book, you will know more about how to play overseas than you knew if you didn't read the book. All it requires is that you invest in getting the book. So that is a small example of investing. There's much bigger examples, like hiring a personal trainer or hiring a coach or joining a coaching program, joining a mastermind, paying money to go to a conference. All of these are for you to do what? Get the intellectual property, which is the knowledge in another person's head. You are investing in getting the intellectual property from another human being so that you can get to your outcomes faster than you would have gotten there on your own. That is what investing is. That's another way that you can do it. So it can be connecting with a person. It can be joining with a group of people. It can be paying for access to someone's knowledge or information in the form of material that they've already created, also known as intellectual property. It can be hiring a staff member. It can be signing up for some software. Or is there software that can help us do things faster than we do it on our own? So I think all of us can agree. I've talked about, and I did a training in my university on what we call CRM software, which is basically the software that you use to keep track of your clients and prospects and all the people you're talking to, and what was the last conversation, who's the last person that emailed who, when do I need to follow up with this person. You don't want to do this on a spreadsheet because it gets very messy after many points of contact and years and years and years of adding people to it. What the CRM does is it keeps all of your conversations with all of your prospects and all your clients and all your customers organized so that you know who to reach out to next. When did you reach out to them? What's their phone number? What's their email? What was the last conversation? What do you have to say next? When do you follow up next? All that is organized by the software. It's called CRM software. and anyone who's a serious salesperson uses some form of a CRM. And CRMs are not free. Usually you have to pay some money to use them. I use one called Nutshells, $39 a month. That's a small investment to keep my conversations organized with my prospects and with my clients. The whole point is, this is what I'm talking about. I'm not doing it all by myself. I use the CRM software to organize things that I don't have to organize on my own. Everybody get what I'm saying here? So when I say stop doing everything on your own, sometimes that means in the form of another human working for you, a human working with you, a human that you are paying to do things for you. It could also be in the form of SaaS. They call that software as a service. So you pay for the software and it does a service for you that you don't have to do anymore by yourself. So instead of me keeping everything organized in a spreadsheet, that's me doing the service. Now I get the CRM. The CRM does the service. So I pay for the CRM to do work that I don't have to do. So a computer can work for you. So it can be a computer, it can be software, it can be an algorithm. It doesn't always have to be a human being. But the whole point is you have to make an investment. At the beginning of this year, first episode of the Work on Your Game podcast was my show that comes out every single day, Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, all of that. First episode of the year, January 1st. The title was Multiplication by Investment. How do you multiply as quickly as possible in 2023 is to invest in yourself. You use whatever money you have. You don't have to have a ton of money. You don't have to be rich. Use whatever money you have and invest that into things that will help you multiply, which is usually in the form of these things that I just said, getting access to other people. All right, everybody follow what I'm saying here. So you explore your options for enrolling other people to help you. I will say, I've said this so many times before. I will say it again in the future. So if this is your first time hearing me say this, get ready because I'm going to say this a lot more times in the future. As long as you are still following my work, you will get more done through leveraging other people's efforts than you will ever get done doing everything by yourself. I do not care how hard of a worker you are. I don't care how determined or motivated, how much you believe in yourself, how late you stay up and how early you wake up. You will never get as much done by yourself that you could get done if you had other people on your program. You need to get other people on your program. First person you need to have on your program is your significant other if you have one. And next person you need to get on your program are people who are in your mastermind groups, people who are on your team if you have staff members. And if you know exactly where you're trying to go, you need to find someone who already knows how to get there, who already has the roadmap and the blueprint, and you need to invest in whatever it is that they're offering so you can get your outcomes a whole lot faster. This is how you utilize other people to get to your goals. And at the same time that you are utilizing them, they will be utilizing you. This is called synergy. I get something from you, you get something from me. We both get to our goals faster because we are working together instead of each of us trying to do everything by ourselves. I want y'all to understand that the collaboration era is in full swing, everybody, in case you didn't know. None of you heard me talk about that before. The collaboration era is the era of human beings working together to get things done. The era of the lone wolf individual just does everything by himself or by herself because you're just going to just work hard and just do everything on your own and not talk to anybody and not make friends and not engage with anybody else. That era is over. If you're still living in that world, you are living in the past. And I'm taking time there. I just want that point to sink in. Any of you who's still living in that era, I'm going to just do everything on my own. I'm going to just hard work my way to success. I'm not going to talk to anybody. I'm not going to make friends with anyone. I'm not going to go to any events. I'm not going to network. I'm not going to socialize. All right, that era is over. If you're still living like that, you're living in the past. That era is over. Okay? It's over. The best way to move forward in the world today is to collaborate. Dexter, you know what I'm talking about. Let me give you all an example. What are you doing right now? What's the name of this? What's the name of this ecosystem that we are using right now? If you're watching me on Facebook, you're watching me on YouTube, you're watching me on Instagram. What's the name of this whole ecosystem? Social media. You're using it right now. All right, this is an example. Social media. You know what that means when it's called social media? That means humans engaging with each other. Social. That's the reason why you're on it, because you want to engage with others. I just got another pause connection. All right, so some of you right now, you're on social media. You're not socializing with anybody. What are you doing? Why would you be on social media and not socialize? All right, the whole point of social media is to socialize. You're watching me right now. Some of you never even heard of me before, never heard me talk before, but you're watching this because something caught your eye or caught your ear. This is the purpose of social media, is to connect with other human beings that you otherwise may never have met. All right, this is the point of social media. Engage and interact with other human beings. And there are people out here who are solid, who can help you get to where you want to go, who have the same ideas that you have, maybe even better ideas than you have. You just got to put yourself out so you can be found. You got to be findable and discoverable. And then you got to know what you're looking for. So when you come across the people who have the stuff that you need, you're like, oh, that's the person. I need to connect with this person. Let me follow this person. Let me get on their email list. Let me go get their text messages. Let me sign up for their course. They're going to this event. Let me go to that event just so I can meet them and anybody else who's like them who's going to be at that event. This is what social media is for, folks. This is the beauty of social media. And I'm not saying social media is all perfect. It is not. But there are some valuable things you can get from social media because you can connect with other human beings from the comfort of your own home. You don't have to leave your house. You can connect with hundreds and thousands of other people, but you got to actually be using it intentionally. This is what social media does for you, folks. So this is why the collaboration era is in full swing, because all of us are on social media. All of us. If you can hear this, you're on social media, because the only place I'm posting it is on social media. So it's either going to be on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram. Like, all of those are social media platforms. So the only way you will ever know that I said this is you got to be on one of those platforms. Otherwise, you wouldn't know that I said it. So we're already using social media. When you post something on Instagram, you are collaborating with Instagram, because Instagram has all the people. You have the content. Instagram doesn't make much content. We make the content. Instagram has the people. So if I make a live stream, Instagram says, we'll show your live stream to some people. And now I get to expose myself to people who otherwise don't know me. Right? And in doing these live streams, I've been doing live streams on Instagram for years. I've gotten people to come into my coaching programs, these coaching clients, people who I'm actively talking to right now, people who have bought books from mine, courses of mine, become audience members of mine, become personal friends of mine, all through me posting on social media. I'm not telling you that to impress you, but to impress upon you. You got the same app that I got. You got the same access I have. I don't have any special access to social media that you don't have. It's just, are you using it the same way that other people are using it? That's why it's called, again, social media. And this is what you use it for. And understand that socializing shouldn't be limited to the internet. You want to use this as a supplemental piece of actually socializing with people in real life. So this is why I go to events. If you follow my social media story, you see me when I'm at events. When I go to events, I'm going to meet the other people who came to the event. I want to meet the other people who bought a ticket. I want to meet the other people who are in the room at the conference. I'm talking about the people in the audience. I'm not talking about the speakers. I'm talking about the people in the audience who came and they bought a ticket too. I'm going to an event next week. I'm going to be in Orlando. After that, I'm be in California. After that, I'm going to be in Dallas. Why? I want to meet the people in the room. I want to meet the other people. Even if I'm speaking at an event. Yeah, I'll talk to the other speakers, but there's only so many speakers. There's way more attendees than there are speakers. I want to meet the attendees because that's where my next client's coming from. My next client is somebody sitting in that audience. But I got to be where they're at so I can meet them. I can shake their hand. They can get to know me. And now we exchange information. Now we have a further conversation moving forward. But you got to be findable. Now, you know what that means to be findable? Findable and discoverable. That means if someone who needs what you're selling, and this is very important for all you entrepreneurs out there, all you salespeople, even if you're not an entrepreneur, if you just sell stuff, you sell cars, you sell books, you sell whatever, you sell encyclopedias, you need to be findable by the person who is looking to buy the thing that you sell. Everybody got that? Whatever you sell, you need to be out there showing, displaying, representing whatever it is that you sell so that the person who wants it, when they see you or they hear you or they come across your work, they say, damn, this person is this person is talking about exactly what I need. Let me go a little bit further into this person's world. Let me follow them on Twitter. Let me get on their email list. Let me get a couple of their text messages. Let me read their book. Let me look through their feed and see what they're talking about. Let me watch their live stream and let me see how they interact. Let me see how they engage. You know what? I might go a little bit further with this person. Let me get on a call with them. Let me sign up for their program, what they have. Let me get a ticket to their event. This is how it goes. It starts at the low level. Like, let me just see what they're doing for free. The great thing about social media is that you can sample somebody's work for free. Another pause connection. The agreed upon price, everybody, for testing out what somebody brings to the table is free. That's the accepted price that we have all agreed upon, that we'll let somebody test our work for free. I'm doing this live stream right now for free. I'm not charging you to watch this. I'm not charging you to talk to you. I'm just putting this out there so everybody can see what I'm about. Everybody can see what I'm talking about. And you can decide. Do you want to go further? Do you not? Somebody might watch your stuff or consume your stuff for free for months or years before they take the next step with you. I have coaching clients in my university right now who start listening to my podcast, listen to it for a year straight before they ever reached out to me and said, Dre, I've been listening to your podcast for a year. I want to know if you have coaching available. I didn't know who they were because they never made themselves known to me, but I was discoverable and findable. Therefore, I was available to be seen by the type of people who I wanted to serve. So the stuff that you put out for free, like your live streams or your social media posts or whatever, should be representative of whatever it is that you sell so that people can get a sample of your work. So then when it's time for them to go and make an investment when they're ready, because maybe they're just not ready yet, they're just trying to feel you out. Maybe they're not sure they even need it. Maybe they don't have the money yet to invest in themselves. When everything is ready for them, you want to be available. You want to be the first person they think of. This is how the collaboration era works, but you got to have the mindset to do this. And this needs to be part of your normal way of operating. So that everything I'm putting out is some representation of what you want to get when you come into my space. But the stuff I put out for free, I make sure is high quality because everybody's putting out stuff for free, right? So I'm still on point number 1 here. So let me move on to point number 2 because I can talk about this all day. First point, and we're talking today about how to cut your timelines ahead. The first point was stop doing everything by yourself. Collaboration. Social media is a collaboration, everybody. So if you have a social media account, and all of you who's watching me, you have one, you need to be collaborating with Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and TikTok and whatever you use. Collaborate with them. They have access to millions of people. And I would guess out of those millions, a couple thousand of them would probably give you money if they knew that you existed and that you had what they needed. But they can't know if you don't tell them. Everybody follow what I'm saying here? They can't know that you have what they need if you don't let them know that you have it. So even if you only got out of those millions of people, a couple thousand of them became your customers, would that be a good day for you? Point number 2, we're talking today about how to cut your timelines in half. Second thing is you can skip steps. Skip steps. What I mean by skipping steps, what I mean is, and these points all go together. So when you get around somebody, for example, let's say you're trying to lose weight. We'll use that as a simple example. Let's use a different example. Let's say you're trying to build your business. All right, you're trying to make more money. Let's say you made 50 grand last year. You want to make 100 grand this year. This is a better example. And you know what it took you to make 50 grand, and you're trying to get to that $100,000 level. So you know you're hitting 6 figures. You want to hit it every single year. And you think in order to get to 6 figures, you need to do A, B, C, D, E. You got an idea of what you need to do. You're basically going to do more of what you did to get to 50 grand. You're just going to do more of it to get to 100 grand. But when you start collaborating, let's say you collaborate with a business coach, somebody who knows how to get to that level. They're already there. They passed it. They know how to help people like you get there. And they start looking at what you're doing. They're going to say to you, well, I know you did A, B, C to get to 50 grand, but in order for you to get to 100 grand, we got to do something different. We got to do X, Y, Z. We got to do things a little bit differently than how you did it before because there's only so much effort you can put out. You probably gave a lot of effort to get to 50 grand. Well, you can't double. If you're giving 90% effort, you can't double that. You can't give 180% effort. That's bad math. There's only 100% you can give, right? So any of you who feels like you're working as hard as you possibly can, whatever level you're at, if you want to do double that, you can't work twice as hard. Right? It's mathematically impossible. So that means you had to do something different than what you did before to get to the next level. Everybody understand what I'm saying? What got you from there to here is not the same as going to get you from here to the next space. You got to do something different. You need a different approach. You need a different strategy. You need a different system. So what will happen when you get with someone who knows things that you don't know? They're going to say, okay, don't do what you've been doing. Do this instead. And it may be a completely different approach. And here's the challenge. Let me tell you where the challenge comes in. It's not that somebody's going to give you a different approach, because some of you right now, almost everybody actually who has a goal right now, you'd be happy to use a different approach than what you're using, because what you're using right now may not be working, or it may not be working fast enough. So you'd be happy if somebody gave you a different approach. Here's where the challenge comes in is, are you willing to emotionally let go of what you're used to doing and grab on to something that's completely different than what you thought it was? That's the challenge. And a lot of people say that they want to do that till it's time to actually do it. There's a TV show called The Prophet by, it was on CNBC. I don't think it's out anymore, but the host was a guy named Marcus Lemonis. Some of you may have heard of him. I've seen him at a couple conferences that I've been to. And in that show, what happened is it'd be this business that was struggling. Business wasn't making any money, or they were failing. They're about to go out of business. They're like behind on paying their vendors. They couldn't pay their staff. They're about to go out of business. So he comes in and saves the business. He writes them a check to pay for their debts and all that stuff. And he takes over the business. And then he says, all right, I see that your business is failing with what you've been doing. You've been doing ABC. So we're going to change things up. So then he goes and looks at the business. He makes a plan. He comes back to them. And this is all dramatized for TV, but this is how it goes. He shows up to the business. He says, all right, you've been doing ABC. Here's what we're going to do now. We're going to do XYZ instead. And this is going to save your business. And you know what usually happens? Any of you ever seen the show, you know what happens. If you have not seen the show, go look it up. It's called The Prophet. And that's not profit like in the Bible profit. Profit like money profit. Profit. The Prophet. Look the show up. Go watch some episodes of this show. It's a great, you learn a lot of great business lessons watching the show. Same as Shark Tank. And when he would tell them we're going to do XYZ instead, you know what would happen with a lot of the business owners, the people that he saved? They would push back against him because they didn't want to change. Now, what sense does that make? Logically, that makes no sense whatsoever. You are going out of business, or you're about to go broke. You are about to be bankrupt doing things your way. I saved you money, gave you money, and I'm about to help your business be successful again. All we got to do is change, throw out all the stuff you were doing and start doing things differently. And they would always push back. Why is this? They would push back because, and this is the reason why I told you this is a challenge, because human beings are emotionally attached to their habits. This is the Prophet. The name of the show is The Prophet. Somebody put it in the comment section of the show. Any of you familiar with it? The reason why this is a challenge is because human beings are emotionally attached to their habits. They're emotionally attached to doing what they've always done, even when doing what you've always done is not working. This is why many people don't change and they don't upgrade. People do not change because they are so used to doing the same things that they have always done, even when it does not work. Okay, the show is called The Prophet, and the last I checked, it was on CNBC or just NBC. Just look it up on, just go to like the NBC app or the CNBC app. That's the name of the show, The Prophet. The guy's name is Marcus Lemonis, Lemonis, Marcus Lemonis. Also Shark Tank. Any of you who's in business, you should be watching Shark Tank and The Prophet as much as you possibly can, just to see the kind of conversations that these people have, the kind of conversations that the business owners have and that the entrepreneurs have with the people that they're helping. So as you can see the kind of questions that they're asking and how they assess problems. It can help you learn a lot about business. The whole point here that I'm making for everybody though, is that we get so emotionally attached to our habits, even habits that don't work. This is the reason why many people don't change. It's not because we're dumb. It's not because we don't know that we need to do something different. It's not because we don't logically understand that our way is not working. Because usually, listen, I'm a coach. I talk to people every single day who tell me that whatever they're doing is for whatever reason not working, or is not working fast enough, or is not working efficiently enough, and they know they need to do something different. So why does not everybody who I talk to become a client? Because they don't all become a client. Well, two reasons. One, and sometimes people don't want to make the investment in themselves is a money thing, or an investment thing, is basically jumping off the cliff thing. They don't want to jump off without a guarantee. And the only place in life where a guarantee comes before success, or a guarantee comes before work, or a guarantee comes before commitment, not even in the dictionary, is in the dictionary other than commitment. That's one reason. Another reason is people are emotionally attached to their habits. So I have people who will get on a call with me, talk to me and say, all right, I'm doing all these things and it's not really working, and I'm not taking action, I'm not committing, and I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. They'll tell me all the things that they're doing wrong that they know they need to change, right? And then we'll talk about, okay, well, then what we need to do is this. I'll lay out 7 steps. Or here's the things we're going to do different. How do you feel about that? Yeah, that sounds good. I want to do it. Let's do it. Then we get to the point where it's time for us to get started. It's time for us to start making changes, and they got to make an investment. And you know what I hear people say very often? Any of you who works in the consulting space, you probably heard this before too. While they're trying to talk themselves out of doing anything, trying to talk themselves out of working with me, because for whatever reason, they don't want to make the investment. They're emotional about the money. They're emotional about the change. They will say something like, you know what? I think I just need to keep trying and doing it on my own for a little bit longer and just see how far I can get. Any of you ever heard that before? Any of you in the consulting space? I know you've heard this. Let me just try it for a little bit longer, doing it on my own. Let me see how far I can get. Which logically, that statement makes 0 sense. Dexter, you know what I'm talking about. Why does this make 0 sense? Because if doing it on your own was all you needed to do, if doing it on your own is all you need to do, why are you even talking to me? If you just need to do it on your own, you need to talk to me to know that. You could have did it on your own without talking to anybody. You could have just kept doing it. You know that doesn't work. That's the reason why we're having a conversation. But this is what I mean. Like, you hear people say these things that logically don't make any sense because they are trying to make a logical justification for an emotional decision. And many people are so emotionally attached to their habits that they don't change. This is why many people have the idea of doing something different, but they never actually do it. That said, the key is, he says he is 100% in control and we have to let go. Exactly. He's 100%. He said, when I give you this check on that TV show, The Prophet, he says, if I give you this check to save you from drowning and being completely insolvent in business, I'm in charge. And that means whatever I say goes. I know it's your business. You owned it for 20 years, but I've been here for 20 minutes and I'm taking over. All right. And they say yes, because they got to be saved by that money. That check is going to save their asses. But then when it comes time for him to actually make changes, he gets a lot of pushback because they are emotionally attached to their habits. And I'm bringing this all up to help all of you. I want all of you to look in the mirror. All of us got to look in the mirror consistently. You need to do this on a consistent basis and check yourself. Where am I emotionally attached to something that simply is not working, but I'm not even admitting to myself that it doesn't work? That's a really good question to ask yourself. Let me give you the question again. All of you should ask yourself this question as often as you think about it, ask yourself this question. Where am I emotionally attached to something that does not work, but I am unwilling to admit that it doesn't work? I know that this doesn't work, but I'm emotionally attached to it, so I keep doing it anyway. And all of us have these things in our lives. Every single one of us has these in our lives. The most successful individuals are not devoid of this habit. The most successful people you know, they have the same habit. The difference is they recognize it quicker. They identify it. They own it. They take accountability for it, and they do something about it faster than everybody else. You see, the most successful person you know, they have the same habit that you have. It's just that instead of it taking them 3 years to get over the fact that they're emotionally attached to a habit that doesn't work, it takes them 3 hours or 3 weeks to say, you know what, let me stop BSing myself and do something about this, because this ain't going to work. Whereas the least successful person you know, they recognize they have a habit that they're emotionally attached to. And instead of it taking them 3 hours to get over it, they hold on to it for 30 years. And they die with that same bad habit that's not helping them. That's the only difference. The difference is not that some people have it and some people don't. Everybody has this. The difference is how quickly do you recognize it, and then what do you do when you recognize it? That's the difference. Successful people just make changes, and they hold themselves accountable, and they make the moves that they need to make faster than unsuccessful people do. Because every human being, no human being is perfect. We all are mere mortals. We all make mistakes. We all have bad habits. We all do stuff that doesn't make sense. We all make stupid decisions sometimes. We all do stuff that simply does not work. We all have this happen. Successful people just change faster. Unsuccessful people change slowly. And sometimes they change so slowly that they die before they finish making the change. Everybody caught that? So when I say skipping steps, what I mean here is when you connect with someone else who knows what you don't know, here's often what's going to happen. They're going to have you do some stuff that you never even thought you would need to do, or that you don't want to do, and that is uncomfortable for you to do. Question is, what are you going to do when that happens? Let me say that again. What's going on, Nigel? When you get with someone who knows what you don't know, who's going to help you get to your outcomes in life faster than you could get to them on your own, like a trainer, a coach, a consultant, a mentor, a parent, anybody, a teacher. They could be anybody in your life. A friend could be a friend of yours, a mastermind member, somebody in your mastermind. They're going to say, oh, you're doing this. Oh, stop doing that. Do this. The question is, how soon are you going to make the change when someone offers you to do something that will be very uncomfortable for you to do? Would you change at all? And how long is it going to take you to actually make the change? I'm in coaching programs. I get coached by people, and they say to me, and they'll show me like, yo, Dre, you're doing this thing this way. You need to change that. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to do that. Now, the benefit that I have, I believe this is a benefit, is that I come from the sports world. I played basketball professionally. And as an athlete, we get coached every day. Our teammates tell us stuff that we need to hear. Our opponents say stuff to us. Our coaches say stuff to us. Our trainers say stuff to us. We come up in an ecosystem of being coached. We're always being told, yo, you need to fix this. You need to change that. You did that wrong. You messed up. You're not doing this hard enough. And that builds a certain level of mental toughness in you. And it builds a level of, if you succeed as an athlete, you have to be coachable. I don't care what sport you play. It can be a solo sport like golf, a team sport like football. When you play a sport, you have to be coachable. And I got a whole masterclass on the concept of being coachable, what it takes to be coachable. I'll probably do that on a separate day about coachability. But to be coachable, you got to be willing to hear somebody telling you something that makes you uncomfortable, but in the long run is going to help you be better. It doesn't make you feel good, but it will help you do good. That's what we call being coachable. Unfortunately, a lot of society today is conditioning people to do the opposite. They want to hear things that make them feel good, but it's not helping them do good. That's hustling backwards. If you want to hear things that make you feel good, but you're not actually going to do good with it, that's a bad formula. And this is how people end up failing in life, because they only hang around people who tell them stuff that they want to hear. You got a bunch of yes people around you, or you get people around you who will coach you and they will tell you what you need to hear, but you ignore them because they're quote unquote haters, or they're negative, quote unquote, or they are being too harsh, or they're just criticizing you all the time, quote unquote. Y'all hear these things that people say. And instead of listening to those people who would help you, you go listen to the people who make you feel good. And this is how people end up losing in life. They end up mired in mediocrity at best, and you end up a loser at worst, because you don't want to get around the people who are going to tell you, here's what you actually need to do. That's going to be uncomfortable, but it's going to help you in the long run. I got another pause connection. Reflections of Trey. Appreciate it. So everybody wants to be a success, need a coach or a mentor. 51 still have mentors and coaches. Makes it so easy to meet my goals. Exactly. You got to get people around you who know things that you don't know. That's why the first step was stop doing everything by yourself. This is the easiest hack, everybody, is get around other human beings who can help you get to your outcomes faster than you would get to them by yourself. You're doing everything by yourself. You are operating at a suboptimal level because you don't know everything and you don't have every skill. And even if you did, you only got two hands. You can't even do it all at once. Even if you did know it all, you can't do it all. Point number 3. We are talking today about how to cut your timelines in half. Here's the third thing you need to do. And then I'm going to recap these points and I'm going to take questions if we got any. Number 3 is urgency and what we call the big domino. I'm going to explain what that means. Urgency and the big domino. Now, we all know what urgency means, right? What's urgency? Urgency means moving with some, putting some pep in your step, putting some energy in your action, moving at a little bit faster pace than you normally move. I was reading an email I'm on the email list of the guy, Andrew Tate. Most of you probably know who he is, even if you're not deep in his world. I'm not deep in his world, but I get his emails. And one of the things that he wrote, because he's incarcerated right now on some trumped up charges. Actually, he wasn't even charged with anything. He's just in jail and they won't even show the charges. But anyway, he sent this email and he said, if you would just move with more speed in a day, you would get more things done and you could actually live a second life if you would just move with more speed. It's a very simple point, but he's actually 100% true. He's 100% correct in that a lot of us sleepwalk through life. We move at this kind of calm, lazy pace that if we reminded ourselves to move with more energy and urgency, we would just get more stuff done faster. The same stuff that we're getting done, but we would just get more of it done faster. How many of you have a to-do list right now with stuff on there from yesterday that you didn't finish yesterday that you tell yourself you're going to get to it today? Of course, almost all of us have that. If you got a to-do list, how many of you ever complete everything on your to-do list every single day? Almost none of us. Now, sometimes that's a structural issue in that we put too many things on the list. Another thing is sometimes we just are not moving fast enough and we take too long to get things done. This is like when you get done doing one thing, instead of moving immediately to the next thing, what do? Well, we pick up our phones, we check our email, we're checking our text, we scrolling through Instagram. What is it? Was that on your to-do list? Yeah, but you did it, right? All right, so that took 10 minutes out of your day. Could you have gotten something else off that to-do list in that 10 minutes that you were scrolling Instagram? Of course you could have. So sometimes it's just a matter of urgency. And urgency is the thing that you can make into a habit. You can make urgency into a habit, but you have to be thinking about it. You got to be conscious about something to change a habit. See, habits are automatic. They're unconscious and they happen automatically. If you want to change a habit, you got to get conscious about the unconscious. 85% of our thoughts are unconscious. So if you want to change something that's unconscious, first you got to think about it consciously, and then you have to intentionally change it. And then you got to stay intentional about it for long enough until your subconscious mind takes over and it becomes a new habit. So if you're not used to going to the gym every day, you got to remind yourself and put a structure in place to get you going to the gym every day until going to the gym every day becomes a normal way of living, a normal way of thinking. Right? So that's how you change any habit. You got to get conscious about the unconscious. And my book right here called The Mental Workbook, that red book right there, shows you how to do this. That book is all about programming the subconscious mind. You can get that at workonmygame.com/workbook. I'll put that in the chat for anybody who does not have that book. It's workonmygame.com/workbook. That book is called The Mental Workbook. It's all about programming your subconscious mind. So that's what urgency is. What's a big domino? Big domino. First person I heard talk about this was two people, actually. It was Tim Ferriss. I heard talk about it. He wrote the 4-Hour Work Week and those books. And Russell Brunson, who's the founder of ClickFunnels, he wrote a bunch of books on marketing and sales. The big domino is a simple concept, which is this. Here's the question you ask yourself. What's the one thing that I can get done right now that would make all the other things on my list irrelevant? What's the one thing I can get done that knocks down everything else? For most of us, there is a big domino. So, for example, people who are in business, right? People who are in business, most business people, their goal in business is to make money. And almost every business person I talk to wants to make more money. I've never talked to a business person who didn't want to make more money. It don't matter how much they make. People who make millions want to make more. People who make in the 6 figures want to get to 7 figures. People making less than 6 figures want to get to 6 figures. Every business person wants to make more money. So the big domino for a business person is what? What can you do that's actually going to help you make more money? All right, that's the big domino. What can you do that's going to make you more money? So, for example, let me think of a. I've talked to a lot of business people. So let's say I'm talking to a business person and they're like, all right, I need a website. I got to put my email list together. I get my CRM in order. I got to build a sales funnel. I got to get a scheduler in place. I need to hire somebody to do my graphics. I got to post on social media every day. I'm trying to get my YouTube channel in order. I need to get more customers and clients. I got to figure out what my sales process is going to be. I got to know where my leads are coming from. And I got to go, get the source of leads. So I got some things to put in my CRM. They got to do all 12 of these things. And the reason they're doing all 12 of these things is to do what? To make more money in their business, right? So what's the big domino? The big domino is, how about we just figure out how you can land bigger clients who pay you more money so that you have enough money that you don't have to actually go do any of those things because you're making the money that you want to make. And if you want to do those things still, you can use your money now to go hire people, software, and services to do those things for you. So the big domino is, what's the one thing that I need to get done that makes everything else irrelevant? That's the big domino. What's the one thing I need to do that makes everything else on my list irrelevant? That's the big domino. See, the reason why the big domino matters is because for two reasons. First of all, a lot of people, when you look at your to-do list, the list of things you need to do every day, a lot of times we spend most of our time, we burn up a lot of our time doing the small, easy things that we know we can do because it makes us feel good. We get a little dopamine hit when we cross something off our list, even if it's some trivial thing like, put books on a bookshelf. Right? Did that actually move your business forward? No, but you did it and it makes you feel good, but it doesn't actually do anything. When the biggest thing on your list, which is figure out your sales process so you can get the right kind of prospects in so you can have a sales call with people who might actually be able to pay you what you want to sell your stuff for. That's the big domino. That's the hardest thing to do, is the most time consuming thing to do, is the one that's the least favorite for you to do because the one you're least capable of doing because you're not that good at it. But once you knock that down, all the other stuff you need to do doesn't even matter anymore because you did the main thing, which is you got more money in your business. See, the reason that many people never get around to the big dominoes because we, as the saying goes, you major in minor things. We spend a whole lot of time doing things that don't really move the needle. So then when it's time to move the needle, we're like, well, the needle's not moving. I'm working really hard. I'm working every day. I'm working all these hours, but I don't feel like I'm going anywhere. It's like running on a treadmill. All you know what a treadmill is, right? Many people do their business like run on a treadmill. So you're running really fast, but when you hop off the treadmill, you're still in the same spot. You didn't go anywhere because you're doing a whole bunch of small things that are not really moving the needle. What is the big needle needs to be moved? If it's business related, then it's the thing that brings in the money. The biggest domino in business is the thing that brings in the money, period. I don't care what your business is. I don't care what you sell, who you sell it to, how long you've been in business. The biggest domino in business is the thing that brings in the money. So here's my question to you that you should ask yourself. Every day when you get to your business, whether you work from home, you open up your laptop, you open up your phone, you work at an office, whatever, what are you doing that actually affects the money? How much time are you spending doing things that affect making money? I'm talking about directly making money. I'm not talking about posting on Instagram because somebody might see you and follow. I'm not saying posting on Instagram is bad. I'm on Instagram right now. I'm saying, how much time are you spending doing things that directly affect the money? That should be where the majority of your time is spent. If you just did that, that will probably make a significant change in how your business is run, a significant change in the way you operate. If you just spent more time doing money generating activities, I'm talking directly generating, not indirectly, directly. So posting to Facebook is not a money generating activity unless you get paid by Facebook to post. And most people I know don't get paid to post on Facebook. Money generating activity is you actually having a conversation with somebody who is interested in paying you money. That's a money generating activity. A money generating activity is launching an ad connection again. All right. Money generating activity is launching an ad campaign or marketing campaign is going to send people to your sales page where you are giving them one option, buy something or leave. That's a money generating activity. If you spent more time just on money generating activities, you will probably make more money. Isn't that a novel concept? Anybody ever thought about that before? Things that directly affect the money always seem so salesy to me. It is salesy. You're right. I don't know why you put salesy in quotation marks. That's exactly what it is. Well, guess what? Making money only happens when somebody sells something. So you're 100% correct. That's exactly what it is. It's salesy. And when I have a conversation with somebody about joining my university, guess what I'm doing? I'm selling. I'm in the sales business. If you want to make money, you have to be in the sales business. Now, if you don't want to make money, get out of the sales business. That's fine. You don't have to be in the sales business. You don't want to. I'm talking to everybody here. All right. So you're right. Reflections of Trey. Yes, it is salesy to doing things that directly affect the money. But you think of the person you know who makes the most money. Of the people you know personally in your life, whoever makes the most money, ask them how much they sell on a daily basis. I guarantee they're going to tell you that's all they do. They spend the whole day selling. That's why they make so much money. All right. Think of the people who make money. Jeff Bezos, Oprah Winfrey, Bill Gates, Donald Trump, before he was in politics, Donald Trump, the business guy. All right, these guys are salespeople. That's why they make so much money, because they sell. That's all they do. They sell stuff all damn day. That's why they make money, because they sell. People who make money are salespeople. Reflections of Trey said, I just don't feel like it's organic. It don't have to be organic. Here's what's organic. All right, living, breathing, and dying. That's organic. All right, everything else is manufactured by man. Everything else is man-made and created. All right, this phone that you're watching me on right now, Trey, is not organic. All right, it didn't come out of the ground. It doesn't grow on trees. All right, it was built by man. The clothes that you're wearing, the building that you're in, the car that you drive, most of the food that we eat, all of that stuff is man-made. None of it is organic. If it didn't grow in the ground, it's not organic. All right, it wasn't placed here by Mother Nature. We built it. So sales is the exact same thing. Impact is more important to me than sales. I know that's crazy. Well, they're not diametrically opposed. I mean, it's a good, I'm glad that you're saying these things, because a lot of people have these same ideas. So I'm glad that you're putting these out there. Impact and sales can be the same thing. If you're making an impact on people, then they will be willing to give you money. You're making Apple makes impact on people, right? They make an impact because they gave us these phones. And because they give us these phones, we're willing to spend $1,000, $1,200, $1,300 on this phone every 2 years when a new one comes out. Or some of you might get a new one every year. Some of y'all on the iPhone for Life program, and you're paying them every month. Why? Because the phone makes an impact on you. That's why you're willing to pay for it. All right. The local grocery store, Whole Foods, makes an impact on you, so you're willing to spend money when you go there to buy food. I'm going to go buy me some food, not from Whole Foods, but from somewhere. I'll probably go to Trader Joe's today. They got something that I want. They're going to make an impact on me. I'm willing to give them money for the groceries. All right. So impact and money the amount of impact that you're making on people should be commensurate with the amount of money that you're bringing in, commensurate with the amount of money that you're bringing in. If it's not, then that means we got to fix your business model. There's something about your business model that may be off there. So impact is good. There's nothing wrong with making an impact, but you should be getting paid for your impact. If you're helping people, you should get paid for it. All right, we call that business, and there's nothing wrong with that. So that's what you're talking about. What you're talking about, Reflections, is a money mindset. That's what you're talking about here. And I talked about money mindset in episode on my podcast, episode number 2321, and also episode number 2214. So 2214 is about poor money mindsets, how it keeps people broke. And episode 2321 is about healthy money mindsets. And every entrepreneur that I work with, especially when their biggest challenge is they want to make more money, number one thing we got to work on is their money mindset. Their mindset around the concept of money and the concept of making money, the concept of asking for money, and the concept of collecting money. Because if your mind is off on that, then that is the very thing that's keeping you from making the money that you want to make. If you're making 80 grand a year right now, you want to make 150K. The biggest thing in your way is not you need a sales process, or you need a product, or your clients or your prospects, or you need a funnel or an email list, or you need more followers on Instagram. That's the things people think is their biggest challenge. The biggest challenge they actually have is you have an 80K money mindset. That's why you're making 80K. If you want to make twice that, then we got to change your money mindset. And when you change your money mindset, when you change your mindset about anything, that changes your actions. When you change your actions, it changes your outcomes. In that order: mindset, actions, outcomes. Impact breeds inspiration. Time. People just want to be inspired, so it's time to spend money. Well, it depends on what people you're talking about. There are 8 billion people on the planet, Trey, so it depends on who you're talking to. And in a way, yes, that happens, but also those may just be the type of people that you are attracting because that's the way you think. And the way you think attracts people who think similar to you. So that, again, it goes right back to the mindset. So yes, sometimes there are people like that. They want to be inspired till it's time to spend money. But people don't just want to be inspired. I don't believe that's true. People want to be inspired because the inspiration is going to lead to them doing stuff. It's going to lead to them outcomes. People want outcomes. There's some outcomes that people want. Now, some people may not know how to get the outcomes. Maybe they're not willing to take the steps to get the outcomes. But there are people out there who do want those outcomes, and they are willing to invest Those are the people you want to be talking to. You want to be talking to the people who are willing to invest in the outcomes that they want. Now, if you're talking to a bunch of people who just want to be inspired and they don't want to actually invest in anything, or they don't have any resources to invest with, then that's a structural issue when it comes to how you're doing your business. What do you sell, Dre? What business are you in? Well, you're in the business of making money, but what's your vehicle? What do you sell? What do you offer? And he said, I listen to many money mindset podcasts, read tons of books around the concept, still feel the same way. You check the episode out. Well, Trey, let's go back. Let's go back then. What you just said there is a good point. You listened to a bunch of podcasts on it and you read tons of books on the concept. When you say tons of books, how many books are we talking? Because a ton is 2,000 pounds. So how many books are we talking when you say tons of books? And let's just say, so however many books it is, let's say you read 5, 10, 20, 100 books, you listen to a bunch of podcasts and you still have the same mindset around money, then here's the thing. This goes back to the structural issue, Trey, is that you probably should stop listening to podcasts and reading books around the subject, because clearly that's not enough to get your mind in a different space. So if you read a bunch of books and listened to a bunch of podcasts and you still had the same mindset and it hasn't changed, then those podcasts and books have not done the job. So you need a different vehicle. You get what I'm saying? It's like if somebody's trying to lose 30 pounds and I'm like, all right, I remember I used to work at a gym, right? I'll tell you this is kind of a funny story. I used to work at this gym in Philadelphia. This is like 2006. This is before I moved to South Florida. This is like in between pro basketball jobs when my career first started. And we used to have to go prospect. We would have to walk outside and just talk to random people on the street, try to collect their information, and then call them, follow up, get them to come into the gym, sell them a gym membership. We used to have to do this. So I'm outside and I see this woman. I remember this is a white woman. She was kind of heavy set. She's probably about 250, 300 pounds. She was riding a bicycle down through downtown Philadelphia. And I stopped there and started talking to her about coming to the gym. And I was saying, I was just trying to talk. I had my little spiel about what I would say to get people to come to the gym. And I was asking her, what are you doing to get in shape? Et cetera, et cetera. And she got kind of defensive. And she was like, well, I don't need to go to the gym. I already have a plan to get in shape. And I said, okay, well, what's your plan? He said, my plan is I ride this bicycle to get in shape. And I was looking at this woman. I didn't say anything else to her because clearly she wasn't open to the conversation. I'm looking at her like this. Come on. All right. If riding your bike is your plan to get in shape, that plan ain't working, because this woman was like 250, 300 pounds. She was not in shape. She didn't have any muscle tone whatsoever. And she knew that. And she was probably just so insecure about the whole thing. She didn't like the fact that I had approached her. But the whole point is the same thing, is parallel to what I'm pointing out right here. Like if you say you've done a whole bunch of X and you still have the same problem, then that means stop doing X. It's like you go to the doctor and you say, doctor, it hurts every time I do this. And the doctor's going to say, well, stop doing that. And it will stop hurting. Every time I eat this food, I get a headache. All right, well, how about you just stop eating that food so you stop getting a headache? All right, so sometimes we just need a different approach. And he said, don't be calling me out on this. So it can't be emotionally attached to old habits that lack progression. Yes. So it goes right back to what I was talking about before, is that human beings, we're just emotionally attached to habits, period. We're wired for habits, people. So this is not a negative thing. All of us have habits, and some of our habits aren't helping us. We are creatures of habit. Human beings like repetition. We like routine. We like doing the same things over and over again. And most of our lives, 85 to 95% of our lives, are based on habit. If you really looked at your own life, you'll notice that most of the stuff you do is habitual. You do the same stuff over and over and over again throughout your entire life. Everybody does. Whether people at the top of the pyramid, people at the bottom of the pyramid, all have habits. Difference is people at the top have different habits than people at the bottom. It's not that they don't have habits. They just got different habits. When you change the habits, things change. How do habits change? Habits are actions, right? What comes before actions? Mindset. Change the mindset, you change the actions, you change the outcomes. 1, 2, 3, in that order. That's why at Work on Your Game, 3 things. This got another pause connection. 3 things: mindset, strategy, systems. 1, 2, 3. Mindset, strategy, systems. In that order. Mindset, strategy, systems. Mindset is the way we think, the foundation. Most people don't think they need help with mindset. So we give people mindset, even though we don't push that we sell mindset. But mindset is part of what we offer. The outcome is what we sell. But mindset is the foundation. Strategy is the game plan. Those are the plan of what? Action. Plan of action. That's the doing part. And the system is how do we do it over and over and over again so you get the same results every single time. Same thing, same way every time. Mindset, strategy, system. That's what we do at Work on Your Game University. If you want to get into the university, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. You want to be coached by me, workonyourgameuniversity.com. You want to get access to all our courses, workonyourgameuniversity.com. In the Business Builder course, we have 2 modules on money mindset, one on poor money mindsets and one on how to fix it with healthy money mindsets. That's all at workonyourgameuniversity.com. That's in the Business Builder course. It's all part of the university. So that's how working out became a lifestyle for me. I struggle in applying to business. Understood. A lot of people do. It's not something that comes naturally to most human beings. Good news with all of that, though, is that there are people who do know how to teach it. They do know how to teach it and they know how to help other people implement it. I happen to be one of those people. That's why I have a university, workonyourgameuniversity.com. That's why I do what I do, to help people with this stuff. So let me recap these points. Anybody got a question, put it in the comment section and I will address it. So 3 points. How to cut your timelines in half. Number 1, stop doing everything by yourself. Borrow the brains of other human beings. The brains, the hands, the arms, the energy of other human beings. Use other people. We're in a collaboration era. If you're doing everything by yourself, you're living in the past. Number 2, skip steps. Skipping steps means some of the things that you are doing right now, even though you're working really hard at them, you don't need to be doing. They are inefficiencies that are slowing you down from getting to the outcomes you want to get to in business, and you might not even know what they are. Why? Because you're doing everything by yourself. You see how all these points layer on top of each other? So get around other people who can look at what you're doing and say, yo, stop doing that and do this. It'll help you get to your outcomes faster. Number 3, urgency and big dominoes. Number 1, move with more energy. If you remind yourself to do this, it can become a habit. And number 2, and the second part of that is big dominoes. That means what is the main thing you need to do that will help you get to your outcomes faster? If you are in business and your main focus right now is business, the main thing you need to be doing more of are money generating activities. That means talking to, working with, dealing with, and doing things that directly lead to money going into your pocket. Not your Instagram, not updating your website, not making a video for YouTube, not what's other things? Writing an email. Well, email sometimes, depending on what your email is about. I'm not saying don't do those things. I do those things. Those things happen in my business. But the main thing you need to be doing is you need to be doing things that generate revenue in your business. What are the revenue generating activities in your business? You should know what they are, and you should be focusing on them. There's a book called Good to Great by Jim Collins where he talks about this, where he talks about what is the main revenue driver of a business. And he talked about several businesses and how they do that. So Reflections of Trade, that website, alldreallday.com, that's my social proof website. So you want to see testimonials, you want to see videos, you want to see screenshots of people who have worked with me in different capacities, what they had to say about me, and the things they said directly to me. That's all at that website, alldreallday.com. So anybody wants to see that, my social proof, it is right there, alldreallday.com. And in that book, he went over, he used several companies as references, but he was talking about what is the main driver of the revenue for their business. So for example, you take a company like Walgreens. Any of you who lives in America, especially here in South Florida, there's Walgreens everywhere, but Walgreens all over the place. Damn near every state, Walgreens all over the place. And Walgreens realized that the main thing for them, the main driver of revenue for Walgreens is they know that every time somebody comes in the store, there's a certain amount of money that they're going to spend. So they want to have as many stores as possible. And they just want to have as much real estate as they possibly can. So Walgreens will put a store in one place and then put another Walgreens like 3 blocks away. In the same neighborhood, 3 blocks away, have 2 Walgreens right close to each other. Why? Because they know that the more of them they have, they got their whole formula for this stuff. But the whole point is they know the more of them they have, they get more people coming in the store. And when people come in the store, they spend more money. All right. And so they know that that's the driver of their business. So you take other companies. Let's take, when I was doing my live yesterday, I was talking about Disney World. And you've been to Disney World lately. The main thing for Disney World is what? They just want you to spend as much time as possible inside Las Vegas. And you've been to Vegas. You've been to a casino in Vegas. What's the main thing for them? They want you to stay in there for as long as possible. Any of you who's a gambler, you go to Las Vegas, you know, if you're sitting at a table like the blackjack table or the poker table, or you're at the crap table or the roulette wheel, if you're there for long enough, you know they're watching you, right? You know they're paying attention to you, right? They're watching you on the cameras. They notice when you're there for a long time. They know exactly how much money you're spending, exactly how much you're gambling, how much you're winning, how much you're losing. And if you're there for a while and you're investing money, guess what they do? They send the little girls around with the drinks and they serve you drinks, right? And they don't even charge you for the drink. They just expect you to give them a tip for the drinks. Why? If you're in Vegas and you're spending money at the crap table or the blackjack table, why do they bring you drinks and they don't bring you food, but they do bring you drinks? Why is that? It's because they want you to stay at the table. Because the longer you stay at the table, eventually you're going to lose. All right. That's the way Vegas is set up. All right. Vegas is set up for the house to take you. So they want you to stay in there. You know why you go in a casino, there's no windows? Because they don't want you to know what time it is. Ain't no clocks and no windows in a casino. Why? Because they don't want you to know what time it is. They want you to stay there as long as possible, because the longer you stay is already rigged for you to lose. So they make more money the longer you stay there. So they want to make you as comfortable as possible and as completely oblivious to time as possible. Why? So they can take your money. Because the longer you stay there, it's guaranteed you're going to lose your money. And that's why rarely do you see a casino go out of business. They don't go out of business because they lost money. They go out of business because something in the setup was wrong, but they don't go out of business because they're losing money to the customers. That ain't the reason why they go out of business. It's just bad business setup, maybe. Most of the time, they don't go out of business, especially in Vegas. Maybe they get bought out. But they're not going out of business because they're losing. The whole point is, again, look at Vegas. Look at them as an example. Their whole focus is, how do we get money out of you? That's their whole focus. How do we get money out of you? And I guarantee you, in the next 10 years, I would bet in the next 10 years, there's going to come to Vegas a way for you to gamble through your phone. That, you know how when you go to Vegas or any casino, when I was in Oregon, we went to a casino. But when you go to a casino, if you want to bet at the roulette wheel, for example, you got to have cash, right? You got to have cash, and then you put the cash down on the table and they give you the chips. But a lot of people don't even carry cash these days. We got all our money on our phones, like Cash App and Venmo and Apple Pay and all that stuff. Guaranteed in the next 10 years, casinos will come up with a way, and it probably won't even take 10 years, for you to basically put your money down through your phone. You'll be able to go to the roulette wheel and say, hey, Mr. Roulette Dealer, I want $100 in chips, and you can do it through your Cash App so they can get the money out of you quicker. That's happening. That's coming. Guaranteed that's coming. Why? How can I guarantee that that's coming? The reason I can guarantee that's coming because it allows them to get more money out of you faster. That's why. Nigel, that link, workonyourgame.net/apply. That's how you can schedule a call with me. Yeah, it won't take 10 years. You're right. I'm saying 10 years to hedge my bet. It probably won't. It might be 3 years. It might be 2 years. Why? Because that helps them get more money out of you. And every time a dollar leaves your pocket, the chances of that dollar coming back are very small, slim to none, that you're getting that dollar back. All right. And if you make money, the next 10 people who come by, they're going to lose money. So they always win. The house always takes you. Y'all saw Ocean's 11? What George Clooney told to Brad Pitt, the house always takes you. You play long enough, you always lose to the house. Disney World, they want to keep you in that park. You know, at Disney World, now they got the thing. Somebody told me this. They got the little band. It's kind of like similar to how you put on the Apple Watch. You put the band on, and the band is connected to your credit card. And now every time you want to buy something, you ain't got to pull your credit card out, because that takes time. You got to pull the credit card out, and you got to put it back, and it might make you think about it, and you might not buy anything. But now they got the band. Now you just swipe the band when you want to buy something. How much is that toy for my 5-year-old? $50. Swipe, boop, $50 right out of your account into their account. They are always strategizing for ways to take more money out of your pocket. That's why Disney World makes a lot of money. That's why casinos make a lot of money. And if you want to make a lot of money, you need to be thinking about what is the big domino in your business. And you need to be doing more of that and less of everything else. Because the more of that you do, you will have the resources to hire or acquire other tools that can help you do all that other stuff. So you need to update your website. Is updating your website going to make you money? Probably not. It'll make you feel good, but is it going to make you money? Probably not. What's going to make you money? Serving clients. So what you need to do is talk to more clients, make money, then take that money, go hire a web designer and let them update your website, because if you ain't a graphic designer, you shouldn't be updating your website anyway, by the way. And I talk to too many entrepreneurs who tell me about this updating their website nonsense. Stop updating your website. Sorry. If you're not a graphic designer, do not update your website. Put the mouse down and back away from the computer. All right. Go talk to some clients. That's what you need to be doing. All right. So, all right. There's enough talking here. I'm going over an hour and 10 minutes here. So anybody got a question, put it in the comment section. I think I answered everything. If you would like to, I'm going to give y'all a few things here, Nigel, when it comes to anybody want to book a call with me. If you just go to that link, Work on Your Game University, there's a button right there on that page as well. Just click there's 3 buttons on the page. One for a call, one to get access to the courses, one to get the 2 physical mails we send every month. Just click the button for the call. You can schedule a call, take you to the same place. So if you want to get my daily motivation text message, you can text me at this number right here, 305-384-6894. It's number 1. If you want to join the university, that's either you want to be coached by me, you want access to all my courses, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. The mental workbook, that book right there I told you all about, that red book, is workonmygame.com/workbook. That's in the chat. My number is right there. And everything's Work on Your Game Universities. That's where we're sending everybody to Work on Your Game University. That's the main thing that we are focused on. I used to put out like all different courses a la carte. We put everything in the university. So you want to get anything from me, you want to learn anything from me that is on the paid level, everything is at workonyourgameuniversity.com. That's from the coaching to the courses to everything else is at Work on Your Game University. This is a real life university. We got a real life curriculum. You're getting real teaching here. All right. We don't have a DEI department. All right. There's no wokeism here. We are just straight game. All right. Straight game and straight results. That's what we're about here. Work on Your Game University, performance and a results-based business. Topaz, appreciate you. So everybody got that? If anybody has a question, anything that comes up, is you might think of something that you're not thinking about right now, you can text me at, yes, the number's in my bio. Yes, the number is in my bio. It's 305-384-6894. It'll be in my story as well. So just look at my story. The number is also in my bio. Let me see. I'm going to pull up my IG bio right now. Yeah, it's right here in my bio. So you can see that number right. Where's that number? Right there. 305-384-6894. This link, Work on Your Game University, is also right there. workonyourgameuniversity.com. And that's that, everybody. I appreciate you all's time and attention. Y'all asked some good questions, gave some good feedback. It's useful. And we'll be back. Stay tuned. Y'all know what it is. Work on your game. Out of here.